News report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all check out blackfoxnews.com/shop to support and show some love and buy some paraphernalia. You can even get this hoodie right here, this sweater, part of me. But we got this in different color shapes and sizes. You know, we got the alternate red logo as well. So, I mean, definitely check that out and support us as we continue to support y'all by giving y'all that real, you digs? Now check this out. 75,000 new coronavirus cases in the United States yesterday alone, just on Tuesday. The death toll has now reached 227,000. That's 227,000 dead from COVID-19. And no state in the union is actually seeing a decline in cases. As a matter of fact, all states are at or near record infections, throughout the pandemic. And still, the White House Office of Science and Technology actually cited Trump in this news release that accompanied the 62-page report. They cited Trump as one of his accomplishments being ending the coronavirus pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. So that was like odd as fuck. They trying to rewrite history. You know, we seeing it, black people. We know they've done it in the past, but we seeing it present day. Meanwhile, you have a state like Wisconsin, 64 deaths due to COVID-19 just yesterday, 5,300 new cases, and Trump is still having this rally over there in western Wisconsin, packed shoulder to shoulder, people coming out to support him in this campaign. I mean, clearly he don't give a fuck about y'all, but you have to find out the hard way sometimes, as we all do as humans in God's universe, Green War and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So 54 million Americans currently are struggling to afford food. That is according to the hunger relief organization known as Feeding America. This did not stop Trump from yesterday saying that all talks on the stimulus bill are going to have to wait until after the election. Now, he said that after Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had already adjourned the Senate until November 9th, right after they confirmed the Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett into the Supreme Court. So that's very telling as far as where their priorities are. I mean, quite frankly, all of the energy that could have gone, you're talking about hours on hours of like asking her questions, and then all of the prepping that probably had to go into that, whatever, just to get her onto the Supreme Court. Very unethical of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to do, especially since he prevented that from happening during the Obama administration months before the elections. And here we are in this frenzy, and they try to rush him in and then leave it to where there is no coronavirus stimulus bill, knowing that there's this many Americans starving. Now, over in New York City, for that matter, you have a City Harvest, a food bank, actually says that 2.5 million New Yorkers are actually struggling with being able to afford food. Where you have Guillermo Lugo, who's actually a food bank distributor manager, who's actually saying that, typically they're seeing like 200 to 250 families. Now they're seeing like 650 families, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. You know what I'm saying? So, shit is real out here, and they playing fucking politics. MAGA, wasn't Trump supposed to be anti-politics? Wasn't that the selling point of him even being in this position? Green War and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report up there in Philly, where there's hundreds of people out there that actually protesting for a second straight night after two Philly cops actually killed 27-year-old Walter Wallace Jr. This was a black man who was actually having a mental breakdown. If he was shot the fuck down, then it was, he had to be black, most likely. Now, I've seen the footage, and my understanding is that he was wielding a knife. I'm gonna say this though, y'all can't just be coming at officers showing no firearms or no weapons or anything like that. You're gonna get fucking shot. At the same time, these dickhead officers need to understand every incident doesn't call to shoot and kill somebody. Y'all don't do leg shots no more. What kind of shit is that? This ain't even a man with a gun. So it's insane. I mean, you had The governor, Tom Wolf of Pennsylvania, actually called in the National Guard to quell the protests. There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of looting. Now, I need some of y'all to give respect to Walter Wallace Sr., the dude's pops. He's basically calling for an end to that shit as well. But he does feel like justice needs to be served, though. So, you know, y'all be easy. Stop using this as a reason to go and loot these stores with your bum asses. You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna do it, make sure they better not be no fucking black stores, y'all. Green War and Graduation, man. News reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So, for the first time since the trial, the grand jurors, two of the grand jurors that were actually on the Breonna Taylor case out there in Kentucky, actually spoke out anonymously in having an interview with CBS's Gayle King. You know, that's Oprah's, you know, right-hand chick, right? So, at least publicly, whatever. Nevertheless, this is a in their interview, they were talking about how Attorney General Daniel Cameron, this is a black man who Tamika Mallory in my song called a straight up sellout or whatever, and you know, people think that I was being harsh. I mean, granted, he made the decision and did the grand jury after he spoke at the RNC, so the writing was kind of on the wall. But nevertheless, these particular jurors who remained anonymous actually described the actions of Louisville officers that killed Breonna Taylor during a no-knock warrant as negligent, and another juror said that it was criminal due to how they were, like, the lack of responsibility or the lack of risk assessment, and even in how they got the warrant, it was deceptive or whatever. And they also said Cameron didn't even provide an option of murder or manslaughter charges being put against the officers, hence why they don't have any. So I think it rings true that Cameron is on some sellout shit, as based on what these two grand jurors are saying. We'll see how this all plays out though. Green War and Graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So over in the US, so far 71 million votes have actually been cast for this presidential election that's actually coming up on November 3rd. This surpasses the early voting count of 2016, so this is a record. In a state like Texas, 46% of all registered voters have already voted. You know what I mean? And you could probably guess which side they're voting for, but nevertheless, I don't know, the tides may change because there's a lot of Republicans that's tired of Trump shit, you know what I'm saying? But then there's a lot of converts out here too, so we'll see how that plays out. You had Joe Biden campaigning in Georgia, you know what I mean? The president, Democratic president, hasn't won the state of Georgia since Bill Clinton in '92. You had Trump campaigning in Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Michigan, where a judge actually just ruled that you can open carry and while going to vote. So, and while Trump was giving this speech, he got the nerve to be attacking, you know, Governor Whitman, who was just almost a victim of a white supremacist plot to kidnap her. But, you know, Trump's up there talking about, you know, you hear COVID, you know, they talking about these cases, you know, they ain't talking about the deaths. Like, basically talking about how they talking about COVID-19 too much, referring to the media, and when I'm saying they. And then, you know, you have Barack Obama, who's actually in Florida campaigning on behalf of Biden, talking about like how Trump is all these deaths, over 225,000 people dead, all of these cases, and Trump's they're talking about COVID too much. Like, he's jealous of COVID's media coverage, like, you know what I'm saying, which I thought was clever, but that's what's going on, that campaign tip. You know what I mean? Trump also was attacking, you know, is still like casting doubt over like the idea of having mail-in ballots being counted. It's definitely outside of past November 3rd. You have Wisconsin, they actually ruled that they can accept, they're going to count, only going to count votes that are received by November 3rd. And you have Pennsylvania saying that, you know, as long as it's like postmarked by November 3rd, it'll be counted. But then you have a very concerning situation with Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Remember, another Supreme Court justice hand-selected by Donald Trump, who actually said that this would be that counting votes past November 3rd would cause suspicions of impropriety. Those were his quotes: suspicions of impropriety, especially if it ends up flipping the election. So the results of the election. So that's alarming to a lot of people, especially voting rights advocates, who are actually saying that if you are casting a mail-in ballot, go ahead and bring it to the destination yourself instead of depending on the post office, since the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, is a big major Trump supporter, and he is actually putting rules that scale back that are going to hurt the post office from being able to fulfill their duties. So everybody stay woke. Green Wall and graduation. Report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. Make sure you check out my mixtape too, @still_our_ground. Notice I ain't give you no mixtape website or anything like that, or whatever, for you to download it. No, this is an Instagram mixtape, the first ever of its kind. You see anybody doing this shit like this, then they biting. But you go to @still_our_ground on the gram, you will actually see like all of my videos when I'm rapping, spazzing on other people's beats, giving y'all songs, tunes, and everything. You can even click the link in the bio and it'll take you to the YouTube video where it's a 24-minute runtime of it. You can just let that shit rock, man. Straight heat, and I keep adding on to it, so it's the gift that keeps on giving, you know what I mean? Now, onto this news. Over in France, French President Emmanuel Macron actually is in some deep shit with all of the Muslim countries around the world that are denouncing him for publicly basically backing this caricature of Prophet Muhammad. See, what happened was he was speaking at a vigil for a French teacher, that out in there in France, that actually had shared a caricature of a cartoon of Prophet Muhammad with his students, and then ended up beheaded outside of his own school. And that's what, so the president's at the vigil or whatever, but nevertheless it looked like what he was saying was support of that caricature, you know what I mean? Similar to what Charlie Hebdo had actually did, you know what I mean, years ago, and then, you know what I mean, the headquarters got shot up, you know what I'm saying, on some terrorist attack and shit. So it's a big deal, but nevertheless, you got countries like, there are protests going on in, Palestine, and Iraq, and nations like this are actually calling for, a bunch of Muslim majority countries that are calling for, that are just protesting against them. And then over in Turkey and Qatar and Kuwait, you have demonstrations going on, calling on those countries to actually protest against using French products. Green Wall and graduation. Report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. So the United Nations actually reporting that over in Yemen, there are 100,000 children that are suffering from severe malnutrition and at risk of dying. See, the economic food crisis over there is happened from the U.S.-backed civil war that's been going on, with Saudi Arabia and, the Houthi rebels out there in Yemen and all of that. You also have the, cutbacks in the humanitarian aid. You also have this COVID-19 pandemic, as well as climate change. So they're getting hit from all angles. You got families over there too poor to even afford to go to hospitals. There's a lack of fuel going on. And it's just getting dire. And you have one nurse that was getting interviewed out there in Sinai that basically said that if the humanitarian aid relief groups withdraw their support, then it's just a straight up humanitarian crisis, which it already is. But that's where they at over in Yemen. Green Wall and graduation. Report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. So over in Western Sahara, currently, still occupied by Morocco, and has been for the past 45 years, in defiance of the United Nations and the international community. The United Arab Emirates becomes the first Arab country to actually have a consulate there in Western Sahara. So, and also today, the UN Security Council is actually doing a vote on whether they're going to renew the peacekeepers. They're like little, I won't call them a military, but they send this organization known as the peacekeepers to certain countries to basically help, whether it's typically with humanitarian aid, and sometimes military stuff. Nevertheless, they're voting on whether they're going to renew that basically contract or that plan for them to be out in Western Sahara. Amnesty International has actually submitted an appeal to add a human rights monitoring component to that. Human rights organizations and other journalists, most of them are not allowed to even be in Western Sahara, considered by some to be Africa's last colony. But you have a rights livelihood laureate Aminatu Haidar, her home, as well as the home of other human rights defenders like Amina Bali and El Ghalia Jimmy. Their homes are under police siege due to their work in starting this new organization along with other activists called Issachar, which actually aims to have a self-determination and human rights justice for Sahrawi. So we'll see how this whole consulate thing turns out with this first Arab nation to have a consulate being over there in Western Sahara. Green War and Graduation. News report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Box News report. So 19-year-old student activist Tony Chung. This is actually somebody who actually helped found the pro-independence group out there in Hong Kong known as Student Localism. Him and two of his other friends were actually arrested on Tuesday. He was arrested while trying to get to the U.S. consulate out there in Hong Kong, trying to seek asylum. He had previously been arrested under Hong Kong's, in China's new national security law, basically trying to prevent any sort of uprisings or like that catastrophe that happened early in 2019 with them protesting against, the laws that China was trying to influence Hong Kong to do, even though they're supposed to technically be two separate entities. But we'll see what this turns out, how this shapes the politics over there. Green War and Graduation. Report out of the new world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure y'all check out blackfoxnews.com/opportunities, especially for you hustlers and you business owners out there. Team up with us and you can actually get your product or your company marketed on multiple platforms on social media. And for very extremely affordable pricing. Make sure you check it out, and it'll be good to do business with us as we continue to do service for y'all and giving y'all this real. Now, for all those that are on the Gulf Coast near the Gulf of Mexico, y'all better be warned about Hurricane Zeta. This is the 27th tropical storm that's actually been taking place for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, which is actually already on pace to break all sorts of records. But it's initially Tropical Storm Zeta, but it has strengthened back into a hurricane, a Category 2 hurricane. It's expected to hit landfall today at along the Louisiana Gulf Coast, making and people are expecting flooding and life-threatening damage. So we'll see how this turns out. The tropical storm Zeta had already left Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, which is still recovering from Hurricane Delta weeks ago. So everybody stay strong and keep people in that area, in them areas near the Gulf of Mexico, in your thoughts and prayers and positivity and all of that. Green War and Graduation. Report out of the new world of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So Keith Rainier, leader of the NXIVM sex cult. Remember, there was a story that came out where it said he had like dozens of women, and even that shorty Amy, and I'm forgetting the last name, but she was actually an actress on this TV show Smallville, which followed a teenage Superman, right? Nevertheless, this sex cult apparently got him sentenced to 120 years in prison for sex trafficking and along with other charges. You have women testifying basically, and this took place in New York, this hearing, but women were testifying saying that this man brainwashed and traumatized them, that he actually had even one woman testified that he was like on her since she was 15 and he was 45. Fucking on and all of that. And you had other women saying that he referred to them as slaves, even branded them with his initials with a cauterizing pen, basically. So this is like major shit, but at the same time, for the you can't be fucking on little girls, but for the grown women, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? They say he did this while portraying himself as a self-help guru. So being brainwashed and traumatized, I'm not saying it's not possible, it's very possible, but as an adult, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I don't know. We'll see how this turns out though. Green War and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure you check out blackfoxnews.com/shop. Get yourself one of those sweaters, you know what I'm saying? You can even get this, you know what I mean, this sweater right here, whatever. You can get it different colors, shapes, and sizes. We got hoodies, we got leggings, we got bikinis, we got flip-flops, etc., man. You know, support the movement as we continue to support y'all, giving y'all this real, letting y'all know what's happening in your state and abroad. Now, over here in the United States, we actually have a federal judge that ruled that E. Jean Carroll, this is a woman that actually accused Trump of raping her in 1990. This federal judge ruled that she can personally sue Donald Trump. Now, and he also the judge rejected the Justice Department's attempt to switch the defendant from being Donald J. Trump to the U.S. government. When they were the JD was arguing that, like, well, this happened while he was working for the U.S. as president, whatever. And while he's an employee of the government, the federal judge ruled that his comments on the rape accusation were not within the scope of his employment. So there you have it. Green Wall and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Poland, I told y'all about how their own Supreme Court had actually made a ruling basically completely banning abortions throughout the country. This was already a country that had one of the strictest abortion laws in Europe. Well, now it's a complete ban on abortions except for cases of rape, incest, or where it'll save the life of the mother. Now, so protests are going wild throughout the country. There was even like a big protest in one of Warsaw's richest places where they were actually like blocking public transportation. And then, you know, people are worried that, like, well, this isn't going to stop abortion. It's only going to make abortion an underground thing and just make it a whole unsafe procedure. So people were really not feeling that shit. And then you had legislators that were actually, you know, opposed to the ruling, that actually protested inside Polish parliament on Tuesday, wearing strikes that had lightning bolts on it, that basically represent the women's strike movement or whatever. So, you know, it's tense over there. Green Wall and graduation.